Well, welcome back to Houston Life, and you can see the little time-lapse video on your screen right now. It makes it look so easy, Courtney, right? Like the set transformation took 30 seconds.
Just a blink of an eye. From accessories to lighting and wallpaper, when it comes to design, even the smallest changes can really make the biggest impact.
Oh yeah, for the past week, interior designer Paul Brockman and his team, they have been working hard to update, refresh the look of our studio, and he joins us now in studio with some simple tips to transform any room. And Paul, nicely done. We should point out you are across the studio from us, and you were working hard until the very last minute today. That's why you're already here. We're not breaking the no guest rule in studio, but Paul, you do make it look so easy.
Well, thank you. Your team was a dream to work with, so thank you for trusting me with your set, and I think everyone is pleased with the results. So.
You know, there are simple changes that you made for this transformation, and I think one thing that we want to start with is wallpaper. Wallpaper is really a big trend right now, and that's something that you kind of focus the design on?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that we talked about when we met with your producers was to brighten up the set. And the first thing I thought of is let's change the wallpaper. And it's in a shot that's usually behind Derek, and we just added a textured grass cloth that has a pattern on it that showed up well on camera, and it's in scale, which is something you need to think about when you're using wallpaper. So it worked out, and then we did a simple grouping of three some reed plants and just kind of simplified it and made it brighter.
Simple and nice. And speaking of making it brighter, you added some lights to the set, Paul.
Yeah, that was one of the main concerns that when we first talked about what the set needed. And so I came in with my crew almost 3 weeks before. We were doing a lot of behind the scenes work, and I want to point that we used residential lighting, which these are lights that you can get at your big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, and things like can lights, some tape light, rope lights, and puck lights. I think we're showing there, just to add some dimension that you can highlight a wall. It just really brightened up the set, and I think it gives the set dimension, and it brightened everything up to give that refreshed look.
Absolutely, I agree with it. It was a little dark in places, and so I love seeing like the refresh in the lighting. The other thing that I think is really great, Paul, is that you wanted to really make the set pop, and by doing that, you chose to kind of change the staining on the wood pieces, like the pieces behind us.
Right. Well, one of the things we noticed that on camera, that the wood veneer set, that was behind you guys always looked really dark. And so again, and this is another great tip, we didn't start from scratch. All we did was we refinished it. So we sanded it down, we put a lighter stain on it, and now you can actually see the wood grain. And I think that with added light, it just brightened up the set. And so that was a refresh, and it was something that we could check off your list, and I think that it just really brightened up the whole look.
One of the most inexpensive but transformative changes you made, Paul, was to this coffee table. If we can get just a wide shot of this, there's a beautiful Carrara marble top on it, Paul, but the legs that were always sort of a silvery color, you updated them so quickly.
Well, thanks. This is one of my favorite tricks to do, and I always joke, this is a can of spray paint. So what we did was we transformed your existing table. This is not new, and all we did was buy a can of metallic gold, and we took the top off, we sprayed it, and there you go, new table.
And even our host chat desk that we sit out in the front, you spray painted that as well, and look at the elevation here.
Yeah, that one to me that had such an interesting architectural design element to it, and it was just, it was, you can see before and after, it just got lost. So not only did we update it, we used a can or two of spray paint, and we used the same gold as we did on the coffee table, and for less than $20, there you go.
It's very, very nice. Big change. Paul, we've got about 20 seconds left. Talk to us quickly about the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I was so inspired by your new photograph that was installed in the kitchen over here of the skyline.
The skyline, yeah.
And it had some beautiful blues and some of the salmon tones. And so what we wanted to do is just sort of unify all of the colors. And so we redid this whole area, trying to color block using those colors. And just, you know, I just want to point out, like, we did not spend a fortune. I picked a lot of the stuff up at Home Goods and Target and at home, and, you know, from plastic bowls that are $1 a piece, but it gives you that color blocked look. And we didn't have to spend a fortune to get a big change. So I think that's a good tip for people at home too, that you don't have to break the budget to, you know, make
a splash.
Yeah.
Interior
exactly.
designer Paul Brockman, thank you so much for our new home. Appreciate it. We'll
My
be right
pleasure.
back.